Have you guys ever wanted to create the most realistic and the most beautiful AI generated images? And obviously you can create various prompts and it is quite easy to generate beautiful images. But what I'm trying to showcase, guys, today is how we can build automations and plug in the image generation into automation flows using our beloved no-code automation platform, Make.com. So I built this Flux. So Flux is the new type of model that's been used to generate the most realistic and the most beautiful AI generated images ever. Obviously everyone's been using DALL-E, but I want to showcase another way and another model how we can generate even better quality images and make them much more nicer. So I'll show you a few examples. So for example, currently I'm running a social media sort of automation engine that, you know, summarizes and create posts for me. So for example, this is my MP Cybersecurity Instagram page, and as you can see, there is obviously a number of posts. So and I will show you, and that's why I wanted to bring this. You know, there's no point gatekeeping from you guys, but I wanted to show you how now we can create better and more beautiful images by leveraging Flux Pro model, which is much better than DALL-E, as you can see from the images. So this image and post is obviously created with a DALL-E. So yes, it can generate some nice images, but I think the next evolution or the next level of image generation comes in when we go into Flux. So this is Flux generated images. This one, we got another one. I think it also allows and it starts generating much clearer images with much better features. So we'll cover in this automation how we can build this flow, and we can embed whether it's social social media engine, in your article creating engine, and any way you want it to be. Basically, it's just the portion of the automation that creates images. So all you need to do is, we'll need a couple of tools here. So it depends what's your favorite AI LLM. I like to interchangeably use each of one of them for their best use case. So I think, for example, things like Perplexity, I think there is an amazing way to use search and summarize various articles and search the internet. So essentially Perplexity becomes a tool that replaces Google. Now, you know, ChatGPT and Claude Anthropic I think can be used interchangeably, but in some cases, like in this specific case, we will use Claude Anthropic to build a prompt for our image generation. So I think in that sense, Claude Anthropic wins in this scenario. So therefore, that's what we're going to use. So as you can see, we will plug into HTTP module, we're going to sleep, and then we'll make another request, and obviously we'll get a file. What we need to do is, then how and where do we get those models? We'll use a tool called Replicate. So Replicate is, again, a new tool that allows you to use these newest Flux models. So as you can see, for example, recent predictions and recent runs that are on my platform, and we've been using Black Forest Labs Flux Pro model. So as you can see, it can generate type of images. It has an examples here, but basically we're going to be using API to plug into using HTTP requests in here. So as you can see, images costs roughly 5 cents. So it's pretty cheap to run. So all you need to do is you need to load your account with a few bucks. I would say you can put $5-10. You know, $5 will obviously give you 100 images. So, you know, if you're making 1-2 posts a day, it will last you almost, you know, forever. And then we'll showcase how to use it. So I'll set everything up, and then we can start and explore how to build it. So let's go and build a new scenario. So we're going to create a new scenario. So we're going to start with Claude. We use Claude Anthropic to create a prompt. Also, guys, you know, Claude Anthropic is the same thing again. You need to sign up to your Claude Anthropic. And then again, it's not about just having a pro plan. It's about loading a dashboard and getting a few dollars in to be able to use an API of Claude Anthropic. So again, you need to establish a connection. So I've already got one set up, but it's very easy. You just obviously add connection, make a connection request, plug in your API key, and then you establish connection. It's very easy to set up, and obviously Google can help you. But if you need any more advice how to set these up, I can obviously cover this in a future videos. But we will cover pretty easily this. So we're going to use Claude Sonnet model from 20th of June. Obviously you can put whatever you want. I think we're going to put 400 tokens in this scenario. And then what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add a message in here. We're going to play a role of user, and then we're going to add content in the message. So we're going to put in text. So I'm going to show you guys as well. I think the important lesson as well that people are kind of getting to nowadays, but I think it's been neglected over a long time. I think you need to understand that garbage in, garbage out. So the quality of inputs you're going to provide into your model, that will determine the quality of the output. So I'm going to show you guys the level of prompt or length of prompts that you need to use in order to get an optimum results. So I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to bring it here. So let me bring up my prompt. So as you can see guys, this is the prompt that I'm currently running. It's pretty lengthy, but I think that so much improves the output that we get. So the prompt goes, and you can guys, if you want, you can pause the video, you can make sure you transcribe if you want to use the same specific prompt. But basically it says you are a prompt writer. You will be given an article or a piece of text. Based on this text, you will produce a descriptive prompt for image generation. Do not include anything other than the text. Do not add a new line at the end of the text. You must use the below guidelines to create a prompt. Exclude characters like double quotes, backslashes, or even Unicode. Your output must be in JSON and must look like this. So as you can see, because we're going to make HTTP requests, we need to put it in specific format. So as you can see, it's input, then we have a prompt, we have an aspect ratio, and we have an output quality. And then what I did is I put some examples. So you have, describe impressive 3D digital art showcasing realistic, the type of scene like, room interiors, computer close-ups, product models, computer components with photorealistic textures, shaders, and lighting poised at an interesting angle to highlight key details. And then there's an example. Create an impressive 3D digital art showcasing realistic room interiors of futuristic spaceships with photorealistic textures, shaders, and lighting poised at an interesting angle to highlight intricate panel and displays. You can obviously expand and add any more examples, or you can change. But for example, because we are creating here art that is realistic and futuristic, so that's the sort of the style we are going at. You can define any way you want it, but as you can see, for example, the way this is created is we have a text at the bottom, and that's where the goal is. So for example, you can plug this image generation model into any other specific workflow, because what will happen, for example, now input, I'm just going to put for this time some specific input for you guys to see. But what we can do is, for example, we can plug in a ChatGPT module that creates a post. So then the post will go into the text section to make sure that image that is created will represent the post itself. And that's the beauty of it, of this automation tool that we're going to use. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy all of this, and then we're just going to plug this into text here. Paste. And as you can see, then I leave a text. So if we, for example, added a previous module that we can plug this generation, we can just plug a text from any other model. So that's the beauty of it. We're just going to create a sort of automation flow that can be plugged into any other automation flow, but this flow is just for image generation. So that's the beauty of it. So that's that. The next model, we need to plug in an HTTP request. So what we're going to do is we add another model, and then we find HTTP, and then we're just going to need to do is make a request. Now, what we're going to do is, and I'll show you how to find all the information in the replicate.com. So what we'll need to do in here is we need to create, first of all, we'll need to add a URL. So URL is, let me find and I'll showcase guys for you. So if we go into API and then we look at HTTP, there you go. So that's the URL that we need to use for this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this and then we're going to plug it in here, paste. We're going to make a post request and then we're going to need to add a couple of headers. Now that's the important part. So what we need to do next is we need to click on, so you can see this is my account. So what we need to do is we need to go into API tokens and we're just going to create a new API token. I'm just going to make it call a demo. And what we need to do is we just need to copy that demo token and then we're going to add a header. So first of all, the first header will be authorization. And then we're going to put a bearer token, which is a bearer token. And then we're going to paste a bearer token. Don't worry, guys, I'm going to delete afterwards that token. So, you know, this is just for demo, guys, for you to see. And then also what we need to do is we need to add another, which is content type. Type should be, and that is application /JSON. That's it. And then we also make sure we pass a response. And then what we need to do is in the body, we're going to add raw. We're going to add content type. So it's going to be JSON and application. And then what we're going to need in here, we're going to need to plug in here a text response. So that's how we're going to post. So that's going to create an image generation. Now the key point for you guys to understand, and I can show you actually in here. So if we go into dashboard, as you can see from the previous examples, we are roughly running an image, because most of these, and the way Replicate works is all of these requests are being queued. So they will take anywhere from 20 to 40 to potentially 60 seconds to run. So what we're going to do is, if we're going to make a request and then straight away try and get the tool to respond, the chances are that we might not be able to get the file back. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a tool in here which allows us to sleep. So basically what we do is we create in a delay to make sure that Replicate has enough time to finish the image generation. And once the image generation has been complete, we're going to come back and get that image. So for our examples, let's start with just 30 for now, and then I think it should be enough. If it's not, we can always increase. And then the next point is we're going to make another HTTP request. So this time we're going to do an HTTP make a request, and this time we're going to do a get request. Now what we need to do is in here, so this time, I think that's an important part. Sometimes we obviously need to run some of these modules in order for us to get some of the data. So what we need to do is, let me just unlink this and let's run. Oh, sorry, actually, let's not run. What we need to do is also, and I actually forgot, as I mentioned, guys. So we created this prompt, but the prompt is determined on us plugging a text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a pick a post pick one of the posts, for example, that's not created. So let's say pick this post. You're going to pick up a post and plug this information in here. Paste. So that's our post that we want it to generate image about. So let's save this. And let's try and run the scenario now so we can actually get some data and then we can plug it in there. So there we go. So what we need to do now, and that's why I just needed to run this, guys, because we need at this point now to get this get URL. So that's what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do is now we're going to link this back together. And then in here, we need to get this URL. So from URLs, we need to get a get URL in here because we're going to get a get request. And now what we're going to need to do next is we need to do the same thing as we've done before. So we need to obviously add some of the headers. So again, we're adding authorization header. So it's going to be authorization. We're going to need to add a bearer token. Again, we can just copy from here. We're going to just do copy this and then plug into here. Also, we need to add another header where we need to plug in a content type. And then we're going to add application /JSON. And then all we need to do here is again do raw application JSON, pass response yes. And that's pretty much it. So again, let's try and run it again. Because we're going to need to do, so basically depending on where you plug in this in scenario. So for example, this scenario will create for us a URL. Now, depending if you plug in it into, for example, Instagram is happy to take URLs. If you, for example, creating an Instagram post. But now if you plug in this into a, for example, LinkedIn module only likes to get a file. So now what we're going to do afterwards, and we can create another module, which is basically HTTP get request to get a file. So let's see the output. If we got the data, so there we go, there's the output. So all we needed to do is we needed to get to that output. So now if we wanted to create a last module, is to get a file, and all it is we just need to download the file, and the file is in output. That's all it is. So we're getting an output. And that's what it is, guys. This is the automation from beginning to end. And I think the beauty of it is we obviously plug in the post or article or whatever text you want. You can even plug in an image. And the beauty of it is Claude Anthropic will create an even better prompt for us to make sure that the post aligns to what we want the image to be. And then we're obviously making an HTTP request, running the Flux Pro model. We're sleeping. Obviously, and then because obviously we are making a post request, then we're making a get request after sleep, and then we're getting a file. And I'll show you what created in the end. So let's run one last time, guys, and see what kind of image this model is going to produce. So obviously we just wait a few seconds when the sleep module runs for 30 seconds. and I'll showcase guys as well. So as I said, this is obviously just a sort of a portable image generation model that you can plug in into whatever you think can produce the best results for you. As I say, whether you want images for articles, posts, social media, you want to plug in images and emails, you can do it wherever you want. So as we can see, we got one at the top. That means all of it ran, and we have an output. So this is the output of the URL. So if we open this URL, we should be able to see the image. This it doesn't show. Let's go in here. So as we can see, guys, this is just the one that just ran, and that's the image it created. So as you can see, realistic images. As you can see, this is the prompt that it built automatically for us, and then that's the image generated. The computers, keyboard. I think, you know, the beauty of these images are crazy, and they're just getting better and better every single day. And that's the beauty of it. And I think you can just create this beautiful output, and you can do whatever you want with it. And I think that's the real beauty of using this type of automation that allows you to create these beautiful images. Hopefully guys, you found this useful. If you want any more automation videos, any more automation flows in the future, please reach out. Actually guys, before I just go, I just wanted to add another important thing and another important tool how you can play around with this. So the way I added this into my automation flows is, as I mentioned to you guys before, so obviously this is the way I'm getting a file. But what you can also do is, and especially I think the important part is, this HTTP request and the way it works is it generates a WebP file. The extension is .webp, and this doesn't always get plugged into various platforms. So I think you can upload a WebP file into LinkedIn, but you can't upload it in Instagram. So the way you can go around it, and the way I've done a workaround is, so I can, for example, what I can do is we can remove this module, and what I add is another module. There's another module in here called Cloud Convert, and then we're going to use convert a file module. So we have a connection that already built. Again, if you want, you can just sign up. It's a free tool to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to use import from a URL, and the URL we're going to use is, so we're going to need to use a URL from here. So we're going to put output URL in here, and how we're going to do that, we don't necessarily need to put in. So I'll say I don't know the input format, and the way we need to create an output will be is we want the image to be a JPG, and then we just need to name an image. So it's going to be, for example, it can be anything we want, but make sure we add an extension. So we're going to add image JPG. And then that's pretty much it. You can select this again. Depends how you want to do it. You can download the file if you need an output as a file. If you need an output as a URL, you can leave it as it is. So this is another little addition, because as I said before, the HTTP GET request, it downloads a file in not necessarily a good format for you. So this is a small little addition how you can do to convert the file into any format. So I converted this into JPG, but we can obviously explore, and I'm sure there are, as you can see, there's a plethora list of formats that we can you know, change into. And this is a perfect, again, this tool can be used, you know, I use this tool for transcription generation as well, where you can convert you know, video files into, for example, audio files, where you just need to get an audio to create a transcription and things like that. So there you go, guys. There's an amazing automation to create a really visual, fantastic images using AI leverage to create a specific prompt based on a text you provide to it. So hopefully, guys, you loved it. Please like and follow and comment if you want to see anything else in the future. Thank you, guys.